Welcome to a short video on CapitalWare's latest product, MQTT Message Viewer. I'm Roger Lacroix of CapitalWare, and I'll be guiding you through the installation, registration, and usage of MQTT Message Viewer. MQTT Message Viewer is available on 3 platforms, Windows, Linux, and Mac OS X. It can manipulate messages, save them, back them up, restore them any which way you want. So the first thing we need to do is install it. It comes available in installer packages for each of the 3 platforms. If you're not familiar with how to install it on a particular platform, you can go to our website and load up the user guide, which is available here on the manuals page. Once you've opened it up, you'll see, if you go to chapter 2, there's instructions for each of the platforms. Windows is a standard installer package. You install it, and you can select the directory you want, and then you can find it under All Programs, MQTT Message Viewer. For Linux, the same thing's available as an installer package, but you first have to open a command prompt and change the file to an executable. Once you've done that, you can run the installer and then run the product from the install directory. On Mac OS X, it's available as a DMG, so you simply download it, open the DMG, follow the instructions on the screen, which means to drag it to the application folder, close and eject the DMG, and then go to the application folder and double click on the MQTT Message Viewer, and it will start. Once you've started the application, the first thing you need to do is register it. So you click on File, Register, and you're presented with the screen. Put in your name, your email address, and the license key that was given to you. Just like that. Click the Submit button, and it will go out. It will first verify that this is your information with your user ID, and it's going to go out to the internet, the CapitalWare server, and get you an access code. So you click yes, and then it's going to come back and say thank you. It grabbed an access code. As it grabbed the access code, if we go back and have a look, you'll see that it's already populated down here and says how many days you have left in your license. You'll also be sent an email to the email address you provided, so in case you lose it, or in the future maybe you change PCs and you need to put the software on a new PC, that's fine. You just come in, put in this information, and then click Add. It's going to say yes, verify it, and then you put in the access code that you got by the email, click OK, and you'll be good to go. One other comment about the license key is that it's licensed to one user. So each user must have their own unique license key, and then when you activate it to get the access code, it'll go out to the server and grab it. If in case you don't have access to the internet, or you may have a proxy server in the way to the internet, click on Preferences and go to your Enable Proxy Server, put in whatever proxy server your company has, and then save the information. And then again, click the Submit button, and it should go out to the internet. If all of that fails, then basically you're going to come down to click the OK button, and then you get the information as it says here. Send it to support at CapitalWare. Copy and paste this information like this out of the application, put it in an email, send it to us, we'll generate. For 99% of the users out there, clicking the Submit button or updating your proxy server values and then clicking the Submit button should get you your access code, and off you'll go be able to use the product. So now that we're done that, we can close that window and come over here. So the first thing you're going to want to do after you've registered, and now you have a fully working version, is to add some MQTT message brokers to the group. So you go up here, click File, and then say Add a broker. It's going to say which group do you want to put it in, and then we'll just take the default group. We'll give it a name. So we're just going to take one off the internet, and we know that there's an IoT Eclipse available, and its host name is iot.eclipse.org. Leave the port number correct, because that's generally speaking, that's the port number you want for an MQTT broker, unless you're using SSL. Leave we want a clean session. Take the default, so in other words, it'll negotiate which version of MQTT you use. Client ID. MQTT message viewer will automatically generate you a random unique number to connect, because each time you connect to a broker, you need to have a unique ID. You can't two IDs cannot connect at the same time to the broker. The second one will get rejected. So MQTT message viewer will automatically generate you a random one so that you can connect. Down here you can pick an icon. We'll just go with the default one. If your broker requires credentials, you put them in here, whatever your username is, password. This particular one that we're going to connect to doesn't require it. And if your broker requires SSL, you can come in and you can say, yes, I need SSL or TLS. Pick your type of SSL, TLS that you want to use, and say, let's say it's that. Fill in the values, set whatever values you want, and off you go. So then finally, last will and testament. This isn't something that MQTT message viewer really needs, but it's an optional thing. If you're writing a real application, and maybe if something were to your connection were to break when you're doing something important, you would want to have a topic string and a message put to it to say, hey, my connection was lost, and whatever other information you want to put out there. For MQTT message viewer, it's there as an optional thing. You don't have to do it. So now that we've filled in the information, we can click the test button. Clicking the test button will go out to the internet, try to connect to the server, and then come back and say, yes, I've connected. And there, the internet has returned and it's successfully connected to the broker. So this is good. So now we can continue along and save this object that we've created. So we click OK to make sure that we save it back. Now, anytime you want to go back in and edit any of the options or values in the profile, you just right click and say edit, and it'll go back in and you can change whatever you want. Maybe you want to add credentials, or maybe they say, oh, it's time to put SSL. That's fine. You just go and change whatever options you want and then click OK. Okay, so now it's time to open a topic. That's the easy thing to do. So we just go up, we click open topic. Now we could have done the same thing by clicking the button right here, but we'll do it the long way. Go open topic. Open topic is my way of saying subscribe, because basically you're going to do both. You're going to subscribe to a topic and you can also publish within the same window. You don't have to do any extra things. So we're going to pick one. We're going to say test/abc/1. Just make one up as we go. And we'll change the quality of service to 1, and we'll say open. And there, voila, out on the internet in the IoT Clips MQTT broker, we now have established a connection and we've subscribed to a topic. Nobody's writing to it, but that's fine. So now the next thing we want to do is create a message for it. So we go up here and then we do insert a message. So we can go up and we can say, this is a test message, right? Life's good. There's a message. If we want to change some of the properties to the message, we can say, oh, quality of service 1, 2, whatever. We want it retained. When we're happy, we can go up and say file and then publish. Or we can just click the icon right here. So we say up here, publish. Boom. There it's out on the internet. It's been published. If anybody was listening, then they would have got that message to it. So if we click on this message, you'll see the attributes on the right-hand side here of what's going on. And it's basically, it'll tell you the topic string, the length of the message, etc. The message ID of it, quality of service, etc. So life is great. Now, if you look in the lower left-hand corner, our connection that we've established, it'll tell you, the session, the client ID that we're using, the topic that this particular tab is on, and the actual URL to connect to that particular MQTT broker. So life's good. So now if we wanted to say, oh, let's add a second message. So we can say message number 2. And then we just click save, and there's another one out there. If we wanted to go out and say, oh, have a view of it, we can look at it. If maybe we got a complicated message and we want to look at it in hex, we can look at it in hex. So that's pretty straightforward. And then you say, oh, okay, great. Is anybody else listening to it? No, because we just made up this topic as we're going along. Now, if it was important to have that message, we can go up and say copy it. So we can now we've just copied that message to our clipboard, and if we had another application open, we can paste it in. Vice versa, if we had an application open and we can copy the information, we can paste it here. So since we already have stuff in the clipboard, we can go up and say paste, and then it's gone in. And so, et voila, you've done. You've created in. And so, if we want to open another topic, we can go up and say, open a topic, and now we'll call it number 2. So now we have another topic open. Maybe we need a third topic, so we'll just go up and create another one called 3, and we go open. Now, if there was things out in the internet publishing to these topics, they would start flowing in. So let's pretend that we'll create a thing out on the internet and say we'll publish a message. So here's a publish server that's built into MQTT message viewer, and basically we'll just pick one. We'll go to 3, and we'll say life's good. We'll put a delay of 25 milliseconds, and we'll only do 10 messages just as a quick thing, and we'll say this is a test message, right? So now this is going to connect to the MQTT broker called IoT Eclipse that we've created, and when we start, say go down here, should have put the screen up a little higher, so then when we say start down here, it'll take off and run for us. So here we go. And now if you notice in the background, you'll see that all the messages came in as they were flowing from the server here. Now they didn't go directly from one window to the other. What happened was the publish server pushed them to the IoT Eclipse MQTT server sitting out there in the real world somewhere. This tab was subscribing to it, and as the message flowed in, they were displayed here. And basically, you got the latest, the oldest one, and then the newest one. In each value, you can look at the message ID, the time and date, whatever you want to look at. If you need to edit it, you can go in. Now remember, a topic you can't actually edit and save. Basically, by editing it, when you click the publish button, you're republishing it, so the old one still exists, and then you're publishing basically a new copy of the old message. Now, to kind of finish out this thing, because this is just an intro, we'll have a quick look at the settings or preferences. So the preferences are here under File. You have where your information is going to be stored. So it's going to be in your user directory under your user ID /capital where it's going to create a directory, and it's going to store all the information related to the brokers that you create, your preferences, and things like that. And if you need to enable a proxy server to get to the internet to register MQTT message viewer, this is where you put the information. On the next tab, we have a main window. Basically, you can select where you want your toolbar. The column size default is 50. If you want to have the new messages automatically scroll, and then where to place the new messages. So do you want always the new messages at the top of the table or at the bottom of the table? Your choice. By default, it'll auto scroll, and your new message will be at the top. What docs do you want to be displayed? There are 3 main docs: the brokers, the status in the lower left, and the properties in the right side. And then basically, if you don't like the positioning of it, you can say, oh, I want to put it in a new position, and you can pick where you want it. On the edit window that for editing messages, there's a couple options. You can wrap text, and then you can show line numbers. By default, they're on. And finally, some default values for the topic. So the quality of service when you open will be 0. Each file message, when you're exporting, how you want it to be handled, stuff like that. Do you want all the messages to a separate file, or do you want each one to an individual? Do you need any trailing stuff? So it just kind of helps you populate that information. So finally, as a last little thing, we'll close these off. Now you can click the X here, or you can click this tab here, or sorry, this icon, or you can go up here and you can say close or close all. We're going to do close all. and we're going to show you something that we'll get into the next video where it's a lot more elaborate, but we'll just have some fun right now. There's lots of brokers on the internet that are available. On this particular IoT Eclipse, there's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of topics. I happen to have discovered one that's just kind of funny. Somebody created a topic called Fisher House. Don't know who that is. Don't know if it's a company, a person, whatever. So it exists. So if we type in Fisher House and we just say slash pound sign, pound sign is for a topic string, a wildcard. So in other words, it says everything after this, any topics that you find that match, no matter how many levels, just show me everything. So if we connect to the internet, the MQTT broker, IoT Eclipse, with this, you're going to see some interesting features that are going to happen. And so just pay attention as the screen fills up quickly. So what happened is, why are the messages colored? Each message you see here is as a different topic. And we'll just click on a different one. So if you click over here, you can see the Fisher House, cabin, garage, up, and heat. That's the topic string for that message. So all the ones that are that color. If you click on the blue one, it's going fast. Double click, and then you look at the topic string. You can see garage door state. So each topic has a different color, and so basically, as you're going to go through the list here, you can say, oh, what's the white one? You can click on it and go look at it and say, oh, that's just Fisher House RSSI garage door, and these are the topics, and they're populating as they come in real time. As that information's hitting the public broker, it's coming into. We've subscribed to it, and we've subscribed to every topic under Fisher House. So everything that they're doing for whatever device they're sending in is getting published, and we're viewing it. And what's this information mean? I have no idea. Most of it is basically what appears to be three pieces of information. It's separated by commas. The first seems to be a value, then some information about the type of device, garage door, and then the third parameter, I would guess it's probably the timestamp in seconds, maybe. Don't know. Just kind of an interesting little thing. But it kind of gives you, for the next video that we're going to do, is kind of give you some information about how elaborate MQTT message viewer is. So we'll say thank you for watching, and we'll come back next time and we'll give you a lot more information. Bye.